Hey, gang. It's Randy the Harmonica Man. Today, we're doing the Shedding Mysticism. Welcome to Shedding Mysticism show, by the way. Um, Today is just a open mic night and a little bit of rant. I don't have a particular topic, but this is just going to be a little bit of silliness of debunking some myths. And I got a couple of written down, and I might think up one or two along the way. And I'd like you all to join me and tell me what kind of BS is out there that you just know is wrong, but is still out there being marketed or whatever. Okay, let's get started. Let's see. I wrote down a couple today earlier. So, in my notebook. Okay, BK sales. That's Burger King, right? So, I remember a commercial. Hey, Kevin. I remember a commercial about Burger King sales, and they had the Whopper Jr. It was $1, and then they had a commercial about ooh, it's $1.29. They raised their prices, and they had some guy dancing around. It's only $1.29, which everybody knows was absolute bullshit. They raised their prices and then acted like it was a better deal. It was bullshit. That was a myth, and restaurants, not just restaurants, but a lot of other people do the same thing too. They raise their prices on just about everything, and then they have a commercial about, wow, look at what the great deal we get. This is like 20% off. Yeah, well, you marked the son of a bitch up 30%, you dumbass. Everybody knows inflation went up. You don't think people can count or remember like 2 months ago what they bought the same t-shirt for? Come on. This is stupid. That is a myth. Marketing and sales, they try to play on your emotions and try to sell you and close it on logic, which is, I mean, it's a good formulation for business, but it's a bad formulation for the consumer because you're not getting any better value whatsoever. Prices go up faster than you can start increasing your net worth. That's just how it works, or don't work, I shall say. Okay, next little myth. Masks. I went to the store. I've been doing a little bit of shopping today and getting some very much needed items since my stimulus came in. I thought, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to like comfortable things that would, eventually increase my net worth and stuff, something that's useful. So I went out and got a few things today. And everywhere I looked, it doesn't matter, got their mask down here like this. It's like, what's the hell's the point? You got your snot holes open. If you're breathing out of your nose, you still got that moisture from your breath coming out, and you got that, and you might have a virus. So the myth of wear your mask, but, think you're sneaking around is bullshit. That is a myth. You're not sneaking around. Everybody knows you're an idiot. They just look at you. You prove it. You're an idiot. Wear your fucking mask the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to go over your nose and your mouth. Not ha ha ha, I tricked you. Nope, you're an idiot. There's no sense in wearing a mask if you're only going to half-ask it. And yes, I'm talking to you, Walmart workers. And every other store worker, for that matter. Wearing a mask is one thing, but trying to act like you can't breathe is totally another. You can breathe. They do work. Put the damn things over your nose and stop exposing yourself and exposing others. You're an idiot. Whatever you're thinking is a myth. You're an idiot. Period. That's all there is to it. Okay, what's the next one? See, isn't this fun? Let's see. Oh, okay. Hair lip dogs. I hate hair-lip dogs because all they know how to do is say one word. Mark, 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 Mark. And the guys whose named Mark get pissed off at this. I don't have any other myths to go along tonight, so somebody join me. Sorry about the wiggling around here. This is the laptop thing going on again. I'm trying to get adjusted. I really apologize. But good news, I got a chair coming in the mail pretty soon, and I will set up a proper desk and be nice and comfy and won't have to adjust so damn much. We can just be like every other YouTuber. You know, when they giggle, it won't go like this. It'll just be a straight on, you know, thing there. Okay, what other kind of myths do we got? Okay, it's not spring. Even though we had the first day of spring a couple days ago. In the northern parts of the U.S. and Canada, it is not spring yet. Even though robins and things have come back and the geese are coming back, we are still going to get mixtures of rain and snow and cold. It's not t-shirt weather yet. We got to wait at least another month towards the end of April, early May, before we can steadily start wearing warmer clothing, or warmer weather clothing, I should say. So the myth of yay, it's springtime is also bullshit. Here's another myth. Your government has your best interest at heart. You know, that one's bullshit too, right? Anyway, 40 degrees here at my house. Staying inside for the next couple days. Got a tooth out a couple days ago. Got bone shards coming up. Got a little procedure yesterday, and I'm still feeling a little bit of the anesthesia. And so I'm just tuckered right the hell out. My body's been taking a whooping. And plus, I got a few more things going the next week coming up. So I think it's sit home and drink soup kind of weather. Seeing how in my area it's going to be a little bit snowy and rainy mix and stuff like that. And much of the country is on the eastern half anyways, up through anywhere from Alabama through, well, all the way up to Michigan, basically, you know, the East Coast kind of thing. It's a pretty wide gap of another girth of old man winter giving us his cold breath. Does anybody who's watching would like to come in and share what they think is a myth and bullshit that most people, or not even most people, but some people might believe or fall for? The link is in the chat. Come on in. Because if you don't, here in about another 10 minutes, I'm going to shut this damn thing off. There's not a whole bunch for me to talk about, except for, wow, my eyebrows are blonde. They're not gray. Yeah, whatever. Hey, Paul's here too. Hey, Paul, how's it going? All right, everybody. Let's see, what else can we come up with? Making pine needle tea. That's also a myth that it tastes good. If you're starving to death, it still don't taste good. I know, because I tried. I'm a survivalist, or at least used to be in my youth. Taught SF how to do the survival courses and things out in the woods. Anything in northern American continent, you know, I pretty much know what to eat. And that stuff's nasty. It doesn't matter if you're hungrier than hell. Pine stuff, you know, it tastes like gin because it's all the same, you know, family, you know, Geneva. gross. Just plain gross. Miner's cabbage? I can't remember if I have or not. Is that an age thing or somebody that's in the ground? I've always went by the books. A lot of things I can't remember, like most things. But I've always went by the books and said, okay, and I had the book with me, but I never really memorized the books, just like you have the military books and stuff. This is what you do in this situation. I never remembered that shit either. Because I don't know, too many seizures or what, but I have a really hard memory. But miner's cabbage. Hang on a second. Hey, Google, what's another name for miner's cabbage?
According to Wikipedia, Montia perfoliata, also known as miner's lettuce, Indian lettuce, spring beauty, winter purslane, or palsingat,
oh yeah,
flowering plant in the family Montiaceae.
Purslane salad. I've had it. Yeah, it's kind of dull. Yeah, like spinach. Spinach isn't bad. Actually, I really like spinach, especially the baby spinach. Baby spinach, arugula, and ranch dressing with a little bit of meat of your choice inside a pita pocket. Now that's some good eating right there. You're missing out if you don't have one of them sandwiches. Anyway, pine trees taste like shit, but you can eat them. You can live off them. What else is another myth in our society? Oh, people think Trump was the best president ever. Ha! That's a myth. Let's see. What else is a myth? Boy, I don't know. You guys got any suggestions? There's a lot of stuff. This channel is all about shedding mysticism. The first step is getting bullshit out of your mind. Like, for instance, brandy. Remember in the old days, and when they had like the Bonanza and the Big Valley and all these other shows, the cowboy shows and stuff, and every time somebody was hurt and came in the house or whatever, and they're like, quick, give her a brandy, it'll warm her up or whatever. No, it's alcohol. It has the opposite effect. You're not giving anybody nutrients to revive them. You're giving them an alcoholic drink, which harms them, especially if they're already subdued in a physical manner. So there's another myth. Alcohol is good for you if you fall off the horse. No, screw you. That's probably why he fell off the horse and began. Myth. America, Kevin says, myth. Was America ever really great? Answer, no. But we are improving. But there is never any country on this planet that was ever truly great. Let's keep that into perspective. The difference is the false sense of pride that we've been fed here in the States to try to acknowledge that we're better than everybody else and we're the greatest ever, and we have this code that we go by, like a Superman thing. Truth, justice, and the American way. Okay, let's start with truth. Like someday. Let's start with that. Seeing as how most Europeans came here and committed complete and total genocide with the actual indigenous people here, and then lied about it, made up new history. See, the history goes to the victor. In every case, almost. And they tell tales about how these other weaker-minded people were that got conquered. And the truth is, it was just a little bit of technology that got them ahead, and maybe the numbers of people in the United States anyway. But that is always a myth. History is almost, I'd say 80 to 90% myth, because it doesn't tell the other half of the story. And that's anywhere you go in the world. Anywhere you go. Like, let's say, like the Philistines, for instance. Apparently, the Jewish tribes eradicated them according to their own doctrine, and they were heathens and did this wrong and did that. And as it turns out, they just happened to be a better technology society. And these warmongering nomads were jealous of everybody, and they were the assholes of the ancient world and went around raiding everybody. And it says so right in their own stories. You know, farming communities like Jericho had to make a wall so nobody was raiding them and stealing all their grains and stuff so they could survive. Well, hell, they must be against our God. We better go march around, knock the walls down, and steal everything we got and kill them. Same thing with everybody else, over and over and over and over and over and over again. So it's all myth, because they happen to be the victors because they were murderous pricks and their doctrine stuck around. So, you know, Judaism, as far as I'm concerned, started off a myth, and it's based on other religions that everybody did the same thing all around the world. Everybody was a damn heathen and a murderous prick. Everybody. So to synonymize any particular religion with good is a falsehood. It really is. Astrology, yep, that's a myth. I'm under the sign of Virgo, and ain't no way the harmonica man's a virgin. I mean, come on. I'm the fucking harmonica man. I'm a blues man. Ain't no way. My sign is going to be a not touching nothing. Looking up what your future is and what kind of person you are according to the stars. Nah, same thing. All made up bullshit. Just made up bullshit. Just like most of everything else. There's only a few things that are realistic in this world, and that is finding out what is true through the scientific and sociological methods scientifically, and when it comes to emotions between human beings and everything, not manipulating in pure honesty, not manipulating anybody else's emotions for an agenda or a belief agenda. There's reality, you know, and these manipulations can't come into contact with reality if they're all made up and as a marketing scheme to proselytize or something. Then they are false by nature. Just by nature, they are false. Snake oil sales. Doesn't matter how hard you want to tell somebody that it's good for you. You're selling snake oil. Who gives a shit? It's not going to be a fact until somehow it is a fact. Through the ways that we can determine and repeat that it can be factual given to the evidence. And sorry, flat earthers, talking to you, you're fucking stupid. There's nothing factual about the bullshit you think. And theists, I mean, most of you have your one and only. And it came from an idea of another one and only 5,000 years before, and another one and only. You know what? 20,000 years ago, Everybody thought just because they're the ones who believe it, that makes it true. And somebody else believes something, and that means, it's the same shit today. This is how societies are. It's a manipulation, and it is false. Theism is false. Believe it if you want. I'll stick up for your rights in order to believe what you want or what you have to believe. But as soon as you start talking to somebody else like they're the bad guy and they have to fucking come to or else, then fuck you and fuck your belief. You don't even deserve to talk. You're the aggressor. You're the one taking rights away from people. Your shit is not synonymous with good, hence the way you're doing bad against people who are minding their own damn business. And yes, I'm talking to you, homophobes and what are you, transphobes and lefty phobes, thinking everybody is stupid that's not in your cult. I'm talking to you, putz. It's not going to be good because it's not synonymous with good, because it doesn't evidentially show that it is good. You just think that in your head and think, well, I am justified because I got all riled up by a pounding, pulping piece of shit to go out and do so or tell somebody so, or I just know because you've named it that. You pointed at it and called it what you want. No, another God of the gaps fallacy. And I'm talking to atheists too. You got to be a little bit open-minded. Everybody don't know everything. I know damn well I don't. And I like to learn. But, consider the source. Lesson number 1. Who do you learn from? Who do you listen to? Somebody that does it. There's an old saying, somebody that makes... Actually, let me go with the Shaolin Temple. You get somebody who trains on doing 10,000 other different things. Punches, kicks, spin in the air kick, whatever. They're proficient at doing all this stuff. They know all this stuff, right? But the saying is, I'm not afraid of the 10,000 things you've done once, but I am deathly afraid of the one thing that you've done 10,000 times. And so if you practice the perfect punch 10,000 times, chances are you hit like a fucking freight train, and these Shaolin monks do. And they'll knock your ass. It doesn't matter if you're 400 pounds. They'll knock your ass clean across the room. Because they master the basics first. But who do you listen to? Do you listen to somebody who knows, or do you listen to somebody who heard it from a conspiracy cult? And it's just going around. And here's a recent thing. This is another pet peeve of mine that's I'm going to debunk. Mountains of evidence. The thing about mountains is everybody can see those fuckers. And if you can't present your case when it actually comes to court and you don't have a damn thing, you still can't say mountains of evidence because you don't have any. You're full of shit. There's no evidence. They're just dumbass opinions and lies. Just spreading lies. That's all it is. It's a myth. There's too many myths out there just in the commonality of regular conversation that needs to go away if humanity is ever going to move forward. Even if it might be funny or something stupid. Okay, that's okay that you're joking around about dumb shit. But the thing of it is, you got to understand. There's a realization to the topic that you're talking about. You gotta actually add, but in reality, this is how it really is. And it might just be your opinion, but still state it. Still stated. But you better be able to back it up with citation. You better know what the hell you're talking about instead of just listening to what, Uncle Zeke told you over the coffee table and a glass of whiskey or something. My rant's just about over. Does anybody want to come in and rant with me? Oh, here's another myth. Fat people who think they're thin and dress like it. Quit it. It's gross. I'm not fat shaming or anything. It's okay to be a little hefty. Most of the people I love are. It's not a big deal. Hell, skinny people don't go around showing off mostly. But people who just want to show some skin, a lot of times they're gross. Unless they're a model, of course. I don't really have a whole bunch of other things to debunk. Like sobriety is awesome, and so, no, it's not. But that's just my opinion. For now, anyways, because I'm drinking. But yeah, sobriety is pretty awesome. And I need to get back to that. But right now, I'm just not in the mood. I just bought tons of cheese, crackers, and meats. And I'm going to dive into that crap like a shark after a seal. That's going to be good eating the next couple of days. Oh, hey, Sam. Glad you came in. I don't know if you got anything to debunk or not, but, I've been debunking all kinds of silly crap. You can too. You just had a big old long ass silly stream yourself. So, well, on the internet, I'm not talking about, bladder control or any other kind of streams like that, but I'm talking about the internet. It was pretty silly. Entertaining and educational, but silly nonetheless. Just like this. So if you got anything to debunk, join right in. Any mystical thing that we need to get out of our mind that you could point out, it might make society a little bit better, at least for a day, and let me know. But yeah, I got some we did some shopping today, so this chair probably isn't going to be the thing. I got an office chair coming, cost me quite a bit of money, a lot of stimulus money, and whatever I got left, I'm going to pay ahead for next winter's heat. And I got a couple of other things that can go with the show. It's not going to be, I treated myself this time. The bills are always going to be there, right? I'm not too far behind on anything, so I'm not going to go ahead and pay a shitload of bills and then not get much money later. So is what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay up a little bit for the most important things like heat. And I'll get a chair coming in the mail. I got, better stuff that I can show off, and hopefully I can get some better production quality going on, even though there's a lag because I got shitty internet. But that's what I've been up to, just trying to make this thing happen. Not that it's a big deal. It's still the same thing. The most important part is that we swear an awful lot and joke around, right? And as they say in Norway, skull. Russia, they say Prost. I should probably stock up on condoms too, because you know it's kind of hard to walk around with all this sexiness and shit. Eventually, I'll give in. Anyway, looks like my screen's going to hell. Hang on. There we are. Piece of crap. You know, I listen to, and I know this is going to sound stupid with you guys, and I watch like Bigfoot stories and stuff like that. It's entertaining to me. And most of it, I just brush off. It's just a story, just like old ghost stories and stuff, you know, when you're a kid or listen to it around a campfire. And you can debunk most of that shit with just common sense. But I happen to, and I've mentioned this before, I happen to know they exist. I've seen plenty of people, they have real footage of them, and that I know personally, and I saw one personally. And the thing of it is, all the little answers, oh, they're, and you see it on these sites, oh, they're Nephilim because the Bible says so. Really? Now, why the fuck would a tribe a couple thousand years ago in the desert be talking about woodland creatures on the opposite continent of the planet that they didn't know a goddamn thing about? Hello? The answer is, I don't know. They're not recognized by science, but here's the difference. It's not something somebody made up. These are like, there's ancient like art and everything, not just in America, but all around the world. Even about 500 years ago in the, what do you call it? The Renaissance. There's some of them hidden in paintings, like by Da Vinci and things like that, and guys like that, you know. And it's not just that, but the answer is I don't know, because the nature of these things, even though we have the DNA, mitochondrial DNA female, the mother, is human. The atomic DNA, the father, is unknown. So, you know, even though they look like a big primate and everything, they might be a different evolutionary path than what we ever thought of. Unknown, pretty much in the DNA compository, is basically something that we haven't labeled yet. It might still be related in one way all the way back to frickin', you know, one-eyed toads and crap, but it might have split off there. And here's the thing about evolution. It does some weird shit. Just think of flight, for instance. Look how many different times flight has developed, and like different things like lizards and avians and even mammals like flying squirrels and shit. You know, I mean, you know, they're not flight, they're gliders, but still they've developed the skills to go from one place to another on the air. And this has been done even the back in dinosaur days when they had them big old pterosaurs. Now, pterosaurs are not birds. They are something else. But they look like birds, by the way, but they evolved into flight. And they filled the niche. So, but you got to be open-minded about this stuff. Everything's not a myth just because it's not proven by science. However, Don't be so open-minded that you'll believe every damn thing. Oh, hey, Warren, how's it going? So you can't necessarily just debunk something just because you don't have the information. You just can debunk the idea of it being true based on lack of evidence. There's a possibility that it could be true. It's just that we haven't the data to back it up to see that it is true. See, that's the difference. So, but in my belief, it is the things that are false are ideas of supernature, the spirit world, making all these little different claims and everything. But when it comes to old Bigfoot there, I think I got it kind of figured out. When is the last time you saw a sniper in your backyard? Or in the woods or whatever? Never, right? These people are trained. I'm doing pretty good, Warren. Thank you. These people are trained to not be seen ever. So if you was going to go out there, if it wasn't for us training our own people and saying, okay, let's train you how to be a sniper and everything, scientists are not going to go out there and find them. Their whole persona is to stay hidden and be a killer. That's their entire training. So if you go about going in the woods and see something that's like what's so-called a cryptid, if there's a creature out there, may or may not be, I don't know. But if its goal is to act like a sniper and stay hidden from human beings, you're not going to study. I mean, same thing with apartment dwellers. Personally, I'm not going to go grab my Bigfoot, who's 10 times my size, and come over and throw him at you in your goddamn apartment. You got to come camping in my backyard or shut up. That's the deal. However, don't go believe in every ghost story or every woods story and Dogman and Bigfoot and all this shit that everybody tells you. Because you can see the bullshitters that are just making up stories and somebody who's actually terrified of and actually being ridiculed and shit like that. Hey, we're getting Kevin Chaos in here. All up in the house. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. Just had a little bit of a headache, but I'm recovering.
Yeah. Been drinking? Looks like you're gonna start.
Gonna start, yeah. If I can manage to uncork this bottle.
Oh, let's see. Warren Graham says, when I go deer hunting, I put on my ghillie suit and no one can find me even if they stepped on me. Oh, yeah, now that's some skill there. That's some real skill. I never got to that point. I was more of a gung-ho, jump at you out of a helicopter and land on you and kill you kind of guy. I haven't been deer hunting since I was a kid. I've killed just about everything I want to kill in my lifetime, and I'm done. I'm just done. So my big hunting spree is at the deal on meats and stuff down at the grocery store. That's my hunting spree. So Kevin, how you doing?
I'm great. I've always wanted to learn to hunt, just to have the skill, but I wouldn't do it as a hobby. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to know that you could be prepared for survival. Like, that's the only thing I'd be concerned about.
Well, I used to hunt all the time when I was younger because I had to. I didn't have a choice. I was going to starve if I didn't. And I traded furs and everything. This is back when you can trade, squirrel tails and raccoons and stuff like that, for a few gun shells and a sandwich. You can't do that anymore. This is an over-regulated world, which is kind of, it needs to be now that there's too many humans. There's so many animals went extinct and everything, but I just don't like to hunt now that I'm in the position to where I don't have to. It's not something that I want to do for sport. It's just, I just don't like killing animals and things.
Yeah, it does. It seems like a bit like when I was a kid. I had a couple instances where I was interested in seeing something die, like insects or something like that. But then once I get the concept of it, it just wasn't appealing to me anymore. And I never understood that how grown adults could off on that.
Yeah, once you realize that when you're a kid, and everybody does that, they experiment with pulling flies off or wings off of flies and all that other shit, and grasshoppers, and then you get to a point to where, okay, there's a carcass laying there and it's null and void, and it's like there's nothing left. There's no movement, there's no life, and mammal species and even reptiles, the light goes right out in their eyes, and it's just kind of a glossy thing, over their eyes, and it's just like, well, the life. After a while, you just don't want to see that light go anymore. It's a living, conscious being.
Yeah.
But I'll damn sure go to the butcher and get myself some good pork sausage.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a vegan. I went vegetarian for a while, and I actually felt healthier. But now I just kind of like curtail my meat intake, so it's not as much as it used to be. But I still feel some sense of guilt in that.
Yeah. Oh geez, I eat meat like I don't know, once, maybe twice a week. And the rest of the time it's either noodles or veggies. Because a lot of times I'm on a liquid diet, so I survive off of broth and noodles a lot. But once in a while I'll have to have meat and everything just because of my Crohn's disease and everything, all the other bullshit that I got. I don't have the enzymes in me to keep to get other proteins going. I crave red meat bad, and if I go a couple of weeks without it, look out. It's like I'm a vampire just looking for good rare meat.
It's a double-edged sword, especially with red meat. There's something about it that, like, it can make you really sluggish if you have too much. But when you've been without and you eat some, it's like a caffeine boost or something. It gives you a total brain boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing with pasta. You ever notice that? You eat a great big old couple plates of spaghetti, and then the next day you got all kinds of energy.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, but that red meat and everything, yeah, it's well, a lot of times too, if you look at some of the hunter-gatherers that are still out there in the world, they eat like the liver and the heart right on the spot and save just a little bit for their families. They drag the carcass back and then just have little pockets of the liver. And if you ask them, why the hell are you doing that? Well, we're the ones out running all day long chasing this, antelope down. And we're burning off all the fat because they don't have sugars and stuff. They eat honey like once or twice a year. So they're depending on that fat. And I'll tell you, because the liver and the heart has the most fat in it. So we eat the organs, or in other organs, we eat the organs first, and then we drag the rest of the animal back to the family, and then they can eat a little bit of the prize, and then they can, jerk up the rest of the damn thing, and we can all have the regular meat and everything for the next, week or so.
You find that interesting?
And they'll tell you for people who everybody thinks is stupid are smart as fuck. They really are.
Yeah, it's weird. Like in Western culture and European culture, we kind of poo-poo on eating the organs and we trim all the fat off of everything. When those are the delicacies and the most prized parts to most other cultures around the world, right?
Right. You ever have like filet mignon and stuff like that, or roast beef, and then the fat just, I mean, it's just so damn good that you can't stop
Yep.
eating it. Well, yeah, I think everybody does that, but then again, you don't have to eat for the next 3 days. You're not craving anything, and there's a reason for that. We are not, it's a feast or famine thing. We have evolved to be hunter gatherers. Yeah, we are not evolved to have a refrigerator where we can get a couple meals a day or whatever. I mean, we're supposed to be hungry for 2 or 3 days and then smell our food from far off and go get it, with all kinds of excitement and, heart pounding, running. That's how we're made. And we don't do that anymore. And that's why we have, one of the reasons anyways, why we have such big health problems. I'm sure, even though we live longer because of the science of medicine and everything that we have compared to hunter-gatherers, we do live longer. But have you ever noticed some fuckers, every one of them has got like a 6-pack abs or 8-pack abs? Every one of them.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's because all they do is walk around and run all damn day.
Yeah, and I didn't want
They are beautiful.
You were talking earlier about obesity a bit, and I don't want to fat shame anybody either, but like you're saying, a lot of it is based on the habits we as a society have formed. You don't have to walk a mile for your meal. You just go to the fridge and back. Well, then why would you walk a mile? You know what I mean? And people get into this habit of eating and not exercising, and then we have this huge
Right.
obesity problem here, and it's a pretty clear like link to me between the behavior and the result.
Yeah. You can tell. It's like, you ever see that commercial where the one guy's singing lazy bones, and then it shows a grandma, out there in the kitchen, and then a grandson calls her from upstairs and says, "Hey, grandma, can you bring me a soda?" And she's like, and then it keeps singing. It's talking about, now that we're not even sedentary, we're stationary, and this is why we're all obese and our bones are getting worse and all that. And they're still singing lazy bones. That's true. I mean, more and more, modern generations, especially with the information age and the video game age, people are not getting off of their asses. And you see 10-year-olds that weigh 300 pounds. I've never weighed 300 pounds. Shit.
Yeah, it was.
What the hell's going on?
I had an unpopular theory a while ago that went something like, basically, if you pulled all the mass-produced meat off the shelf in the grocery store, so either you have to go to like a neighborhood butcher or you have to go kill it yourself, then there'd be a hell of a lot less people eating cheeseburgers. And if they did, they'd have to go kill the cow, dress the cow, do all the work involved, and then they would lose the weight. So it wouldn't be a freaking
Owner
issue.
meat grinder.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember doing that when I was a kid, grinding my own meat and everything right there in the family. And Dad bring home a couple deer or whatever, we'd grind it up, or we'd buy a half a hog. You see, I was the family butcher. We had a couple farms in the family, and they'd have me go out there, 6, 7 years old, and butcher everything up. Chickens, hogs, goats, you name it. And that was some good eating. But after doing all that and then hunting and everything, it's just, I'm done watching animals die and then having to, put up the stench and the carving them up. And even though I was super fast at it, I know what I'm doing. I just don't want to do it anymore. So I just rather have it prepped, especially now that I'm a disabled person. I don't want to, take all that extra work to do something just to get something to eat. And I don't eat that much anyways. So it's not like it's, that big a deal. Like I said, half the time I live off of broth and things like that. So I don't need to go out there and hunt and stuff, but I do still gather some wild plants and stuff in the springtime and eat those. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, you're probably the exception.
I guess so.
My thing there. My theory was more like to the 300-pound preteens. That's who I'm focused.
Well, I know in general society is what you're talking about, and yes, I've even rode on a bus with a girl from Switzerland. She's like, "Man, I can't believe how fat you people are over here." It's like, well, I'll get used to it. So we went and got a lunch. Her and I got a lunch together, and all we had was one ticky tiny piece of meat. And I had a pear and she had an apple. That was it. We were satisfied until dinner time. We didn't have to eat anymore. So that's the difference in between people on the other side of the planet. They know how to eat. Just to stay alive. They don't eat just to eat.
Yeah, I was
like America
surprised.
Does. Boy, we're disgusting.
I went a few years ago. I went out to a traditional Italian restaurant, which is here in the States, but the people that run it are from Italy. So I didn't realize exactly what the food was going to be like. So when I ordered, it was the prosciutto, just as an appetizer. They gave me 4 slices of meat with a hunk of cheese and a bunch of veggies. And I was like, what is this? This is not what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's much different than our American take on these dishes. Like pizza or anything else is just vastly different than the traditional styles.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And in Italy, they say, they got this habit of, you're wasting away, eat a lot more. But they're not, they're not pretty fat, they're pretty darn healthy. But the difference is they're not taught to eat 3 meals a day. They have a little bit of coffee and a scone or something like that. And then they go to work. And then when lunchtime comes around, everybody goes home and they eat a gigantic meal, with everything. And they talk and they spend their time at doing it. And then when they're done with their meal, they take a nap until about 3 p.m. Then they get back up and they go down and open their store again. And then they work up until about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And they have a little bit of leftover for right around that time to eat before they head on home and go to sleep. That's the difference. They eat 1 gigantic meal a day, and the rest of the time they just don't eat unless it's just to satisfy them, so they don't eat a lot. And it was weird to me. The French do the same thing. They sit down and they eat and they talk about the textures and the tastes and everything, and they'll have lunch for 2 hours, sitting in a cafe or something. Sit there, talk about lunch, and they'll just keep ordering, a glass of wine or something, and they'll just talk about what the hell they're eating and the business of the day, and they enjoy every bit of it, and that's why French food is so good, is because it's not so much it's that much better, it's that the conversation is better. Lunch is always better for them. They don't have to hurry and scarf it down and go back to work like Americans do. So they get full quicker because their brain synapses hit in their stomach connects quicker, so they don't eat as much. It's just very, very strange, how we're doing it compared to the rest of the world.
There's a lot of stuff, I guess, Paul Kamish had mentioned earlier in the chat about daylight savings time, and the hour or less lunch break is one of those things that we implemented, I think, trying to be more productive, and as it turns out, it really makes people psychologically miserable, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I guess,
with Warren Graham, I agree. He's hadn't had any McDonald's since the 1990s. Good for you. Every time I eat it, and once in a while I have to because of my sugar drops, I'll go get a cheap hamburger. I'll feel better for a minute, but later on I'm sick. But I'd rather cook stuff at home and make a whole bunch of it and then just, eat at home before I do anything.
yeah.
But, yeah, I got a farm down the road that does a bunch of dairy, and their cows they don't have any of the hormones or anything like that, but they looks like Geo Sam wants to come in, but they got a sign out front that our cows are not on drugs, but they do like grass. And I go down there and get fresh cream and fresh milk and stuff like that, and all I got to do is return the glass bottles. The glass bottles are a $2 deposit, but the milk is so damn much better than the regular store bought and stuff that it's ridiculous. And that's what I use for making recipes and stuff, is that farm fresh milk, and it's only like a mile and a half from me. So, and they give me good deals and stuff like that too whenever I go out there and buy it.
Hey, Randy. How you doing, Kevin?
Yummy. Hey, Sam.
Good.
Doing pretty darn good.
It's good.
We're just talking about food.
Well, yeah, we have that. We have the milk. We can buy it in the bottles and stuff. Because I live with another fella, and he buys the bottled milk. I buy the regular milk because I can't tell the difference. I've drank both of them, and they taste the same to me, but I don't know. But I'm used to drinking.
Well, the stuff that I get,
I'm used to drinking like cream, not milk. You know what I mean?
Oh. Yep.
Because I don't really drink milk. So I don't know. But I used to be a fatty too. I was a big fat guy, man. I lost a lot of weight.
I've heard plenty of people that were overweight. They cut down on three things: milk, breads, and sugar, and that's all it took. Everything else was good for you, and those are the three main things, because the bread's got too many carbs, and that turns into sugar, which turns into fat. The sugar, same thing, and the milk already has lipid contents that are through the fucking roof. And us human beings aren't supposed to be drinking bovine milk in the first damn place. It's from a different freaking species.
Yeah, it's meant to put like,
I mean, our DNA has compensated for it, but we have a great population that is still not able to drink this stuff, and the rest of us, it just it doesn't digest properly. It sits as fat, not only in our arteries but on our guts too. So because it's from a different species, think about it. Something that's supposed to drink cow's milk starts off as a 50-pound calf, turns into 600 pounds 8 weeks later.
Yeah, the milk is the milk is meant to put weight on the calf rapidly.
Yes, exactly. So we don't think about those things.
Yeah, how the hell do you think a
human
calf
consumption that began as like a supplementary issue during times like famine and things like that, and then kind of became habitual over time, right?
Yep, and then I think a lot of it was just mostly like cheese and stuff too, for something to store. And most cheeses used to be made in the middle of winter. They take all their cow and horse poop and everything, and they pile it over top of milk vats and everything, and it would sit there and heat at 45 degrees all winter long until it turned into cheese in the springtime. And then they'd take it out and then air dry it and age it in a shed, brown out the outside, and then, before it became major industry and everything, that's what they do in ancient times. And the cheese was a supplement to all the other food too. It's pretty interesting, our evolution of food from domesticated animals as opposed to hunter-gathering and stuff like that. Interesting.
Well, I lost a lot of my weight by just cutting out exactly what you said. I wasn't much of a milk drinker, so that wasn't a problem. It was the pasta and the breads that was the problem. But once I stopped eating that stuff, I lost a lot of weight and stopped eating packaged food, like anything in a package, pre-made.
Mm-hmm.
So I start making my own food.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah, no, wouldn't touch that. But I just make a hamburger, just fry up a hamburger or something,
Mm-hmm.
And eating a lot of
I like
meat.
I got a lot of recipes for just homemade foods. And I'll take even once in a while I'll watch like whatever, I can't remember that the television channel that's got all the cooking shows on anyways. I'll watch that once in a while and I think, boy, that sounds good. And it's all natural, fresh veggies and all that stuff, It's like, wow, that sounds really good. And I'll go try it. Next thing I know, I incorporate it into my diet. I'll have it like, twice a month or something.
Yeah.
Like I make French mushroom soup. Jacques Pepin, the French chef, showed one time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. Cost about $100 for ingredients, but shit, that stuff lasts a couple of weeks. But boy, is it good. And now I cook it a couple times a year just for a lot of relatives of mine because they've had gastric bypass and they can't eat a lot of solid foods and stuff. They're older and got bad teeth. So I make this cream of mushroom soup for them and stuff like that and then pass it out. And these relatives of mine, survive off it for about a week or so. And it's just divine.
Wow.
It's to die for. I mean, literally, you would jump out in front of a truck to eat this soup.
I like mushroom soup.
So good it is.
I like mushroom soup. I have this thing. It's what is it called again? It's like a pot, Instapot. It's called. Ever hear of it? No. Well, you just put. It's like a pressure cooker. You just put everything in it and set it, and just walk away. But I've made some killer like stews that last for about a week, and for minimal, cost as well. The main cost is, I think, the beef. If you buy the beef, a good cut of beef.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, at least I know what's in it, because I'm going and buying all the stuff to put in it. There's no, you're not going to find monosodium whatever in there, because I didn't I didn't go and buy monosodium whatever and put it in my. It's like, what the fuck?
It sounds like a fake word, but it's really not. It's in a lot of natural foods anyway, MSGs. And you're gonna tomatoes has a lot of MSG in it just naturally. The thing of it is it's used as a supplement, as a flavor, like a flavonoid kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's too much for the human body to handle. It's not natural to have that much. And a lot of those big words like that are scientific. That shouldn't be there, to begin with, like sodium benzoate. You know what that is? If you read the back of a candy bar, it says sodium benzoate.
Preservative, I bet.
And it's a hardener. Yeah, it's a hardener to make your Snickers bars chocolate and not melt on the shelf. Oh. And is what it is a mineral that comes from the ground. And a lot of it is out in Wyoming. but they mine for the shit. And they even got this place, and I lived like right next to it, sodium benzoate lake. And a bird would fly over and land down, and he'd land down there inside, and within about a minute of walking around, that damn bird would keel over dead.
Damn.
It's bad news. It leaves a white ring around the lake and everything. It's just a mineral that's in the rock and everything, and water brings it out, and it's just a hardener. It's like a concrete kind of thing, and they put that in the candy bars and shit on the shelves everywhere, just as a hardener. And it's like, you can't think of something natural to put in that shit as a food product. You can't put. Nope, you got to go mining for concrete to put it in candy. The fuck is wrong with you?
To be fair, it is a naturally occurring mineral, but I don't know about the MSG and stuff like that, but a lot of these ingredients we see are also actually byproducts of the mixing of certain foods and chemicals and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. You ever see that cheese, you buy it and it's already shredded in the bag, but it doesn't stick together?
Mm-hmm.
You know that there's an agent they put in it to keep it from unsticking, and it's a derivative of sawdust that's in there.
Oh wow!
That keeps the cheese from.
Same thing with your spices. The non-clogging agent in spices is silica.
So think about
Fucking
it.
sand.
That's why, I never buy the shredded cheese because I could just shred it myself. What's the difference? I mean, I'm not adding. I don't need sawdust in my cheese, right?
Right.
And then you think, the soda
they used to,
fountains, soda fountains at the fast food places. You know what I'm talking about. You go there, the ice machines are full of feces and urine and all kinds of other contaminants because people don't wash their hands and they touch things, and then it gravitates right up into the ice machines. They never wash the ice machines. They never wash the Coke machines. They just they put in new water and new soda, and everybody gets sick from it.
Well, I'll do you one better.
And a lot of it
obviously it appears to be unsanitary, but just stick your finger up in the actual dispenser nozzle, because 9 times out of 10 they're not cleaning those out, and those alone are filled with everything you can think of. It's disgusting. I've worked in restaurants.
Yep.
Terrible.
I usually go get a juice or something ahead of time, and then when I go to a place, I get just the food and nothing to drink.
Yeah, I don't drink from the fountain.
Nope. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to have to, I'm expecting a business call. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. Is there anything that you guys want to shill while we're still here debunking assholes that sell us food?
I have nothing really, so other than the TMI show, which is the bit of tea and Danish.
Okay.
That's every Thursday.
Yep, on Thursdays.
Thursdays at it's 11 Pacific, I think. Yeah, and 2 Eastern. Yeah, 2 Eastern, and I forget whatever the other times are because I don't remember them. But yeah, and I play D&D with One Ring 42 every Saturday. We just did an episode this past Saturday, so I play D&D and we stream it. So if anyone's interested in seeing that and they know who One Ring 42 is, then so that's about it.
Beautiful. And me, I'm
all right, Kevin.
I'm doing a roundtable discussion on racism and crime and a bunch of other stuff tomorrow on my channel with Grumpy Old Dude and a couple other people. It's kind of an impromptu discussion, so check that out if you can. 11 a.m. Pacific. And I'll be back to doing Bible studies next week, hopefully. That's about it for me right now.
Cool.
Okay, and as for me, I have on this, of course, Thursday evenings. I don't know. I'm thinking about using this 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as a staple. Due to now that everybody else has changed, I'm not interrupting anybody else's uh, crap. So I think this is a good time to do it. Um, and as for Saturdays, 5 Eastern Standard Time, I've got Live with the Harmonica Man. I'll have you on there here pretty soon, Kevin, and talk about music and stuff. And this weekend, I don't know. I might have a guest, but I'm not sure. I have to talk to. That's one of the things I got to talk about tonight. Anyways, I'll let y'all know what's going on. But Saturdays, anyways, Live with the Harmonica Man, and I'd like people to come in and do questions and do the live chat and everything too after the guest has talked about themselves and their musical journey. Same thing with here, debunking certain things and then question and answer afterwards. I just haven't had a guest on in a while. But that's about all I got. And everybody in the chat, thank you for coming along. And as always, think for yourself and don't listen to anybody else.